From April 4th to 5th, devastating wildfires ravaged the Gangwon region. A total of 5.3 million square meters of land were burned, which is twice the size of Seoul's Yeouido. Nearly 4,200 people were evacuated and 1 person died, while 35 were injured. A spark that is suspected to have started on an electricity pole was fanned by strong winds and grew into blazes that engulfed the region. One of the most unforgettable scenes to Koreans was when a long line of fire engines dispatched from other provinces were driving on the highway with their lights on towards Gangwon area to battle the fire. News reports and posts on social media called them heroes, a name they rightfully deserved. Whenever a large-scale fire occurs and we hear about the hard work of firefighters, a debate surfaces on whether they are deservedly compensated. Many hope that this fire serves as an opportunity to fundamentally improve the level of compensation for the firefighters who sacrifice their lives for the safety of the public. Ironically, April 5th was Korea's Arbor Day. On that day, we are supposed to plant trees, but we lost many of them. It's the best month of the year to plant trees, but the season of dry weather and strong gusts also overlaps with the time Korea is most vulnerable to wildfires. We are all familiar with the government announcement that in this season of dry air, a tiny spark can lead to a big fire. We have to be extra careful not to make simple mistakes that would lead to catastrophic results that take a huge toll on many people's lives. Strong winds, along with low humidity, fueled the wildfires, which led to such a large area being burned. So I said with strong winds, along with low humidity, fueled the wildfires. So when we talk about low humidity, that means the air is very dry. In the summer, Korea is very humid. The humidity is very high. So when that happens, there's less chance of wildfires. So the winds with the humidity fueled the wildfires, so gave more fuel and more power to the wildfires. The damage from the wildfires were aided by a perfect storm of atmospheric conditions. High winds and dry conditions helped the fire spread rapidly. So I said the damage of the fires was aided by a perfect storm of atmospheric conditions. So a perfect storm is a series of bad events that happen very close to each other or happen one by one right after each other. So in this case, the atmospheric conditions, that means the conditions of the atmosphere, of the weather. So you had very dry conditions on the ground, very dry winds, very fast winds coming. Those were the perfect storm. All those bad things added up to what we call a perfect storm. It's an idiom. It's kind of an old idiom, but it was popularized again after Sebastian Junger's book called The Perfect Storm, about 2 storms that collided together on the East Coast and caused a lot of damage. But we use it now as a series of bad events. And also, we call this effect like katabatic winds. Katabatic winds are when you have a high pressure system over a mountainous area, and the high pressure pushes the air down, and it's also called like a downhill wind effect. In America, a long time ago, the Native Americans called it the devil winds, and the Spanish might have called it the Santana or Santa Ana winds. But now, in California especially, there are wildfires every year. We call them the Santa Ana winds. So it's when the high pressure systems come and blow this kind of hot, dry air over the desert and then push all the air out to the sea, and that creates the conditions that can cause wildfires. Firemen from all over were dispatched to the fire. This is why the fire was extinguished so quickly. So when we use to put out a fire, we say to put out a fire. To extinguish a fire is another way of saying to basically battle and put out a fire. So the thing we use is a fire extinguisher, but the verb is to extinguish a fire. The fire was put out by local firefighters and firefighters from other regions. Their actions resulted in a swift end to the fires. So I said their actions resulted in a swift end to the fires. A swift end means it ended quickly. Korean fighter fighters should be paid more for the work they do. The public understands that firefighters risk their lives and support efforts to increase their salary. The laws on the books need to be changed to fairly compensate firefighters. Now there is public support to raise their pay. So I said the laws on the books need to be changed. The laws on the books is an expression we have for the current laws or the laws that are on record. So the laws on the book now say firefighters should be paid A, but now people think they should be paid more, B. So the laws on the books are whatever is recorded currently as the law. When the weather conditions are dry and windy, a single spark can cause a raging inferno. We have to be cautious to prevent wildfires. So I said a single spark can cause a raging inferno. An inferno is a very large fire. There was an old movie called Towering Inferno, which means that there was a building on fire. But if there's a big fire anywhere, we can call that an inferno. And then we have to be cautious to prevent wildfires. We call them wildfires means mostly wooded areas in the countryside are burning. We also call them forest fires. Sparks from cigarettes, electronics, and campfires can easily spread into forest fires during the dry season. Please keep an eye out when you're dealing with fire. And just the last part of that sentence, I said, please keep an eye out when you're dealing with fire. To keep an eye out is to look out for something, to watch out for something, or if you're looking for something, it just means to pay extra attention. So we say, keep an eye out. That means be careful, look around, and see if that thing you're talking about is there. All right, guys, thanks for downloading, and thank you for following on Instagram. It's MATTSSAM. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.